And we are live. Welcome along. We're here for round 8 of this Formula Aero Tier 2 season. We're in Australia, where the sun is shining for the first time in a while over this grid. We've got a great qualifying session coming ahead. And 19 drivers ready to battle it out for pole. And I'm going to be here as I was last race. We've got Quiet Boy in the commentary box with me as MH has left the session. Why does that not surprise me? Oh, it's just his entire game's crashed. Okay, perfect.
Oh.
Well, everyone's going to be getting their setups going, but Quiet Boy, as one of the guys fighting for the title last year in a race around here, where obviously you might have had a little bit of controversy with your title rival for that race. What are your thoughts about the race that we could have today? What are your thoughts about people we've got on this grid that could maybe put a marker down for those others driving around them?
Well, I definitely think for this race, there definitely will be very much more closer than it was last race for sure. I think the two leaders at the top can definitely do more this race than they did last race for sure. But I'm interested to see how Jitter does as well after last race, winning so easily. Obviously it's dry, but I definitely think he still might be up there for this race.
Yeah, Jitter obviously last race coming out with the win. Your old teammate. As well, lobby reset is happening, everyone. Congratulations, Smurf Illegal, for hitting the back of Ollie 1G. Somehow, some way, we have managed to already got a grid penalty coming in, as my YouTube app absolutely adores, apparently, copying links. So, we'll have the stream link out to those who actually can't have notifications on. But Is That Me is going to be our first driver out on track. One of the drivers that can very occasionally hook up a race weekend. There we go. There's more instance already. Will Gomez involved with another one. But Quiet Boy, take us through Is That Me's lap while I get a stream link posted.
Yep. Well, the turn one, hopefully he was done with practice for this. The turn one's usually probably the hardest. It's just cutting the cane. He's done that well enough. Into the next turn, let's say. Well, he probably hopes that he'll probably want a good lap for his first lap into the next turn.
That's a lot of curb though. Into that corner. He's going to come to the end of sector 1. I've been seeing at the top end of this grid about 26.3 from what I know, and he's invalidated his lap already. So let's go back to everyone's favourite driver, Jack Newcastle FC, who, if Is That Me was smart, might actually give his teammate a toe, but Jack is all over the grass on his way through sector 2, so I don't think that'll be happening anytime soon. Through the fast chicane he goes, and he just taps that wall on the outside, unsettles the car, drags him wide. But now, down the back straight, is his teammate going to impede? That is an issue that might be caused here. And he's going to come to the end of his lap as his teammate still harvesting battery, the dirty air hurting him all the way, managing to keep it valid despite going off the road. And through the final couple of corners, this has not been the lap for Jack Newcastle. What is the time going to be in the end? He's on the grass on a straight. It's a 19.2 to open the lines, and there comes Yari, selling the 16.5 that I knew he had in him. Good lap from him. Solar is off in the grass at the final corner. Max comes across the line. It's a 16.9 and only at 16.9 for him. We've got one of the Alpines coming up. I think that's Peterbot finally debuting for Alpine. Only an 18.2. Across the line comes Bluefoot. And that's the lap he wanted. Billy Wiz goes up to P4. His teammate now coming through the final sector using a lot of curb. A lot of people really attacking some of these big red curbs on the track. As Real Gomez, P7 on track for him. Metal comes across the line. That is not a great lap for Metal. Only an 18.0 across the line comes one of the McLarens. That might have been an invalid lap. I think the person we want to look at though is RB Gaffo, needing to recover from a poor weekend last time out. Lucas Spurs can go only 6. Gaffo up to P4. That's a good return to form for him. Is That Me will be our next driver across the line. He's on a pretty good lap as Max has disconnected as well. Disconnections haunting this. I've just invited Brandon Clark to the lobby. As Is That Me? Only P9 on his effort. MH coming to the end. Who disconnected right at the start? Was it MH?
Yeah, MH.
Okay, well, he is back in. MH, though. 43.9 at the end of the middle sector. He is looking on fire in this qualifying session. It was a great line as well. Through the turn 9 and 10 chicane. Maximising every part of this track now as he comes towards the end of his lap. Just really attacking every corner with all the might that we know he can have. He's not been qualifying for the past few races, but I think this is going to show something different because he is finally given the flag in qualifying. He crossed the line. It's a 16.6 again. There's 3 drivers in that 16.6, Ford within just about a tenth of each other, and then Bluefoot has put himself absolutely nowhere. Fozzie's really struggling on his outlap actually. And Johnsy Boy, who's a driver that can perform on his day, needing to pick up a results day, I think, because it's not been the best of seasons from the man who's driving a Ferrari here, but in Tier 1 he's not put up the numbers we might have expected from him. Down to Tier 2 for a reserve performance. Shano not racing today, so Gaffo might have a competent teammate for the first time in his life. So it's what he can do to really just put some pressure on someone else. Both the Mercedes just starting their laps and the Aston Martins on outlaps as it stands. Mercedes, as we can recall from last weekend, they were mighty in qualifying, and then in the race as well. They had pace. John's boy, only P10 for the time being. Gideraci's the leader of the Mercedes, and he is purple in the middle sector. And the first one looked decent as well, but that is a lot of curb on the exit of the 9 and 10 chicane to be taking as a driver. A very easy way to lose a lap. Luckily, I think, was just slowed down enough off the curbs to keep himself safe, using every inch of the track available to him and trying not to use any more, because that will result in him losing a lap. It's been a decent banker lap from Jidder here. It's not going to be as high up as he was last weekend. It's P11 for the man in Mercedes colours, but his teammate Smurf illegal snap on the exit of the final corner. He's going to come to the line, and this is looking like a very good lap. It's a 16.8, putting the Mercedes in a decent spot, but nowhere near where we might have expected after last weekend. But it's a good start early on in this qualifying session for everyone really needed. You know, Australia is one of those tracks. It's a bit like Monaco in the sense you need to build your confidence through a qualifying session. You've got a lot of high-speed corners where you just need to be confident that the car will stick to the track as you're going for your lap. And that's one of the things, you know, turn 1 especially, very easy just to invalidate. Turns 7 and 8, easy to invalidate. Turn 9 and 10, again, just there's so many corners. You can put the car in the wrong place at the wrong time, and that'll cause you struggles.
Yeah, I'm very surprised to see medal, and especially John's boy so far down in 14th and 16th, because I thought they would have been in at least both of them in the top 10, but unless they just had a really bad first lap, but I definitely would have seen them higher. Oh,
well, there goes the league owner out of the session. Invite him right back. Disconnection issues occasionally will prevail in Formula Aero, and the guy under pressure right now, after what was not a perfect first lap by any means, I wouldn't say terrible, I might say terrible, is Jack, but we're going to cut back to him in a moment, on board with the Ari Spams L2, towards the end of this middle sector, where just the other day we found out he was using automatic gears. The absolute criminal that he is, still on a 16.5 with auto gears, full traction control and ABS. He's going to come through this final sector. It looks like a very nice run through there, maybe a small amount of impedance from the car behind him, but he improves. 16.3 is the time for him, and Jack Newcastle, the driver, at risk of probably annoying the boffins at Sauber, Only a tenth up as he comes through the middle sector. That line isn't going to do him any good, and that is a bit of front wing gone for the Sauber driver. He's going to be right back in the pits, getting on a new front wing. Bluefoot, our provisional pole sitter as it stands, will be trying to fight back here. So I open my phone to make sure Gaffo's not begging for an invite. Bluefoot, a couple thousandths up in Sector 1. All he needs. Apparently Max got kicked, but he is back in. Because he's clearly driving on the track for me. Williams right in the middle of the road there. That's going to be investigated. Bluefoot, 4/10 down. Massive snap with that DRS open. And that's him done for his effort on those soft tyres. And he is going to have some words with the Williams driver. And because there's only one on track, it's the one, the only real Gomez, who caused so many issues for drivers. Max in the V-carb after being kicked from the session up into P2, 4 thousandths ahead of Yari Spams L2. Those are the margins we have around here. Going to try and re-invite Gaffo again. So I don't think that guy we're watching crossing the line is on a lap. I think that's just the Sauber starting lap. No, it's Metal Medal up to P11. And good effort from him. He needed some time back in that car. John's boy finding some more time in Sector 1. Not much, but he needs to use this race as a confidence builder for himself. Because it's one of those tracks where, you know, it is hard to hook up the laps right. It's hard to keep everything pretty stable. It looked very nice indeed through turns 9 and 10. And now just how much can he maximise every little part of this final sector using a lot of that inside curb. I absolutely love to see that. There is time to gain if you can hook up that inside curb on turn 11. But it's very risky because you're slightly wide of it. Your car gets thrown up onto its side and that loses you a lot of traction. But John's boy is looking on a very good improvement here. He crossed the line. It's up to P10. Good lap from him. Smurf illegal. End of the first sector. He's 3 thousandths up. It's very difficult to find time in the first sector if you don't know where you're at in it. Yellow flag in Sector 3. One of the Red Bulls, I think, just stopping to let someone through or just has no fuel in the car. Comes through the middle sector. He's purple through there. 43.8 as he crosses that middle sector split. If he can hook up this final sector beautifully, he might be on a fight into that top 4, but currently very tight. All from 4th to 6th and then very tight at the top as well. Only a couple tenths separating them. He's going to come through the final sector now. I know what his setup is and I know it's very, very good in this final sector compared to some of the setups people might be running. He crosses the line here. It's a 3.45 from the Smurf illegal. Fastest in the final sector. And more crucially, only 1,000th off the back of Yari. 5 thousandths off the back of Max. Did we really think this qualifying could get any closer, Quiet Boy?
Yeah, I do not think it would be this close, but it really is. Between, I would say, from, well, pretty much nearly down to where Lucas Spurs is upwards. It's just so tight, like maybe 3/10 in it between it. It's crazy how close it is, but it's what we want to see. We want to see close racing for sure.
Yeah, it's something we don't see very often, especially in a qualifying session in a league like this, where the talent can be so spread out at times. Bluefoot, I'm glad you shat yourself at that rear loss. I was quite scared for you. You should have been in the wall there. How you didn't end up in there is a miracle. Peterbot looking for an improvement. He's debuting for Alpine today. You know, it's first time back in the league after having to leave for personal reasons earlier on in the season. He's making a comeback, and what's this going to be across the line? He's out of battery, but it's P2 from the Alpine driver at 16.185. He is barely off the back of Bluefoot, but he needs to sprint now towards starting his final effort. Gaffo with another disconnection. He needs to get back in quick if he wants to do another run. And I'm going to send him like 20 invites, and I've just sent Brandon Clark an invite again. He's going to be confused. Let me message him on Steam and be like, sorry, F1 is being a dick. because I'm sure he's not going to be super happy about his things. Let me make sure that this doesn't pick up on the stream. It does, so yeah, I will not be sending Brandon Clark a message through Steam just yet, unless I can do it elsewhere. Yeah, getting immensely closer as it goes on. I think I've managed to pick up Steam, and I'll be able to apologize to Brandon Clark. Into the pits comes Peterbot, and everyone now will be starting to leave the pits for their final efforts. Gaffo, I don't think will make it back in time. He has made it back into the lobby, so there is a chance, but final efforts will be going down. Solar looking like the first person. He's a 10th up at the end of the middle sector, but there is more time in that final sector for him. He crossed the line. It's the first time we've seen him get close. It's a 17-1, P13 for him. Is that me? Needs to find an improvement, and he is using all the track and more. Jack Newcastle, his teammate, giving him a sweaty little slipstream there, and then just darting out of the way. What can he do through this final sector? The Saubers right now looking to occupy the back of the field. What's he going to be able to do as he comes through these final couple of corners? Has Gaffo made it out the pit lane yet? No, he's not, and is that me session over. Now, looking up forward, who is the front runner here? It is Bluefoot, first driver to cross the line, and more crucially, he is a 10th and a half up already. Is he going to drop into those 1 minute 15s, and is he going to get accusations in the chat? What's he got through this middle sector? Had to abandon his second effort, and he's 2/10ths up now. He's just got to be really cautious through 9 and 10, and then the rest of the lap will be nice for him. Max, his qualifying session done. Gaffo does have time to make it to the line, thankfully. He will get another effort. Can Max get another effort? He's very tight on the time, but he might just be the last driver across the line, and perfectly the last driver across the line. He does have an Alpine behind him, though, I believe, on a lap. Bluefoot's going to cross the line. We already know this is going to be a 15. It's a 15-9 from Bluefoot. FaZe Monkey is the next to cross the line. What can he do? He goes P2. It's a 16-0. Who can challenge Bluefoot, though? That is the question. Smurfle Eagle starting his final effort now. He is going to have to push on heavily. Ollie 1G has crossed the line. Nothing looking very good for him. Fozzie's crossed the line as well. Again, just not a solid effort from him. Lucas Spurs starting his final effort now. Metal Medal coming to the end of his lap. Hasn't found much. What has Jack Newcastle found? He's found the invalidation. First things first, Metal Medal crossed the line. Finds a little bit of time, but it's not enough to improve his position. I think I just saw Fozzie's mashing himself into a wall, trying to find who's on the lap. Chidarachi's coming to the end of his. It's not been a good one for him. He puts himself in the wall, crossing the line. But that might, thankfully, it doesn't impede RB Gaffo, who needed something. Gary doesn't improve. His final effort gone. Max starts his final effort now. Smurfle Eagle in the middle sector right now, trying to find what he can. Trying just to get himself up a bit higher. We know Yari hasn't improved. We know there's a couple. We know Peterbot probably has one more effort in him. Yari has retired from the session. It's not been what he wanted out of this session. Smurfle Eagle can only go P4. Peterbot, what has he got as he comes through the middle sector? He's not even up as it stands. Gaffo was majorly up in his first sector. Now it's his middle. He's 3/10ths up. What time does he have in the final sector? If any at all. He is probably one of the 2 drivers on this track that can challenge for pole. Max got wing damage. His lap is over. We've got drivers coming to the line now to finish their efforts. Jack Newcastle finally gets himself off the back of the field. What can John's boy do? He crossed the line. It's P10 and P10 only. Billy Wiz, I think we just saw crossing the line, couldn't improve his position. And here comes Gaffo as our last driver to truly complete a lap. It is a 16-2. That puts him P5 on the grid. And I think Max is going to need to have a few words here, because wing damage on his final lap, left side wing damage, it's easy to get, but it looked like he might have smashed into the back of someone. That is qualifying over here. Bluefoot on pole from FaZe Monkey, who finally looks back in form, and then Peterbot couldn't improve his final effort. Smurf Illegal goes fourth, followed by Gaffer and Max. Yari spams L2, and then a little bit of a gap then back to MH, Lucas Spurs, John's Boy, Billy Wiz, and Jitarachi in the back of the grid, occupied quite heavily by just those lower times. Ollie1G and Real Gomez, the only two sitting in the 18s, and Jack Newcastle couldn't find much more. We'll have to be back in a little bit because there's been some grid penalties that won't be applied. So give us about 10 minutes, we'll have a new lobby set up and we will be ready to go for a race. And we're back to live. Sorry it took a while to get the lobby set up, but we'll be ready to go in no time. We're going to be missing Peterbot for the race. The guy who was starting quite high up in the field, I believe P3, couldn't get his F1 to load back up. So, you know, that's it. But fresh lobby. A full dry race here in Australia for the first time, I think, this season in FA2. But we're getting ready for 5 lights here in Australia. And it is lights out and away we go. It's a good start from FaZe Monkey for the second row. And it's a good start from Gappo, gaining on Smurfle Eagle. Smurfle Eagle with a poor start. Into turn 1 we go. FaZe Monkey pressuring Bluefoot all the way through turn 1, 2 and 3. And he's followed by RB Gaffo, Max, Smurfle Eagle, John's Boy, Yari, MH and Lucas Spurs dropping positions, and Yari trying to gain a few. I think there was a spinner in the back there. One of the Hasses looked a little bit sideways, but so far it's a great start from Bluefoot, managing to maintain the lead. But you know what will happen. There's 2 long straights coming up, only separated by a high-speed chicane. A lot of gravel kicked up in the background. As it looks like RB Gaffo might have made a mistake. Yari spams L2 down to 7th. But Gaffo already opening up that DRS gap. And it's Bluefoot followed by FaZe Monkey leading the session right now. Followed by Gaffo, Smurfle Eagle, Max, John's Boy, Yari. And there's a spinner in the back. It's one of the Red Bulls. Fozzies is backwards at the chicane. One of the Hasses is going slowly. That might be Billy Wiz. And positions changing all the time. Jitarachi is down to 17th already. But as we end lap 1, it is FaZe Monkey out in front. And Max and John's Boy racing wheel to wheel through the final couple of corners. And as they start lap 2, they are going to be side by side down the main straight, looking to fight it out into turn 1. I think John's Boy would be smart just to back out there on that medium tyre. Not much is going to be created, but the slipstream is powerful down the straight. Max defends the inside. John's Boy sweeping around the outside. Can he hang the car around the V-Carb driver? Just about can, and they're both 3 miles off. And there's one driver who gets contact, is Yari. And Yari's in the wall. He's been put in the wall by MH. And that is wing damage on lap 2 of the race for a driver who had so much promise. Just so many issues happening there. It's not what he needs, and he's going to start falling down the grid. And if he can hear me, it is box as FaZe Monkey takes over the lead out in front, but Slipstream will help Smurfle Eagle in the background, trying to hang it round the outside of Gaffo. You know what happened the last time we saw 2 people wheel to wheel through that corner. But this time, everything staying in check, and Gaffo managing to get into the DRS of the 2 in front. That'll be crucial for their race. Yari falling down the grid. That is some major wing damage for the Alpine driver. He comes into the pits, and I think he must go into the pits. Missing a bit of front wing will not help Gaffo, dropping out of that DRS range. MH picking up a 3-second time penalty. It's his first time qualifying, and he's doing quite well. Bluefoot down the inside of FaZe Monkey, trying to take the lead away, and FaZe Monkey is going to hang it around the outside. Backs out quite wisely for the V-Carb driver, just keeping that DRS now, which will be a huge advantage come this next straight for the V-Carb driver. But it's DRS all the way down to P8 as it stands. Yari in 16th right now on a fresh tyre. There goes FaZe Monkey. Easy as you like. Past Bluefoot, who will be vulnerable if he can't stay close enough to Gaffo behind. As FaZe Monkey picks up a 3-second time penalty. It's lap 3, mate. And he's already got that penalty. Smurfle Eagle in the background taking a look at RB Gaffo. Not what he needs. Jitarachi picking up a 3-second time penalty. Track limits might have been a deciding factor today. And it's already showing to be MH and Lucas Spurs wheel to wheel through that right-hander. It's not a place where you should be going wheel to wheel. As Gaffo's in the wall, he spun on the exit of the final corner. He's dropping down the order. And Gaffo, mate, I know you're set up. It's safe. He's coming into the pits. How? His race goes from bad to worse. And now that really relieves the pressure off Bluefoot in second. Max in third now under a lot of pressure from Smurfling. And they're both in the wall. And both of them off in the gravel. And that is going to drop them a few places down the road as they rejoin Metal nearly making contact with Max. But positions...
crossed it out of his wing as well. That's gone horribly wrong as well. So much contact, so much damage for a lot of cars already. We're only on lap 4.
Bad news for Gaffo, even worse, that Yari Spams L2 has come out in front of him, and Gaffo is being attacked by everyone's favourite driver. Real Gomez down the inside, tries to get it stopped, but he's just not good enough on the brakes. And FaZe Monkey has actually pulled off a miracle here. It's the first driver in the lead to keep that position, but what can MH do now? On the inside of Lucas Spurs, he needs to get this move done. They are wheel to wheel once again through this right-hander, and MH just keeps that lead for now. And surely Lucas Spurs just willing to take it back in a couple corners' time. Solar's actually doing a great job. He's got wing damage. That front right end plate has been taken off. But he is in a very solid position right now. Here comes Lucas Spurs. He is clean past MH, and there's no surprise about that move being easy as you like. Just no way you're going to keep a car behind with DRS, who was right up your arse. But now it's all about Bluefoot and FaZe Monkey out in front. Gaffo's already thrown his race away, and it's looking even worse for the Ferrari driver who pulls into the pits again.
Oh.
He slowed down to the pit limiter. He's still got... Did he not replace his front wing?
Oh, he
didn't? Is that what happened? Ollie 1G has retired on track. Is that a safety car? It is a full safety car. Let's see if we can see what happened to Ollie 1G, who is parked in the middle of the circuit. But this safety car is absolutely beautiful. Unfortunately, we're not going to see Ollie 1G's car, but we can only assume left side wall, wing and tyre off, game over. And this is actually brilliant by Gaffo. He's only done a couple laps on those hard tyres. So if he can just bring them back into a good window, he might find a way to come back into this race. The guys out in front do have a chance to pit if they want. John's boy on the mediums taking that chance. Lucas Spurs on a medium taking it. MH hard taking it. Max on a hard staying out. So a difference in strategies here. Solar drive-through penalty for speeding under the safety car. Not what he needs as he climbs up the grid in this race. Jack definitely going for a new tyre. Now Yari, we spoke about tyre strategies. We didn't speak about this. He's got like 2 or 3 lap old hards and he's staying out. Okay. So surely Real Gomez and Fozzies are going to come into the pits to get a new set of tyres on. No point in them staying out.
Well, Gerard's going for a very interesting strategy on the intermediate tyres, so I don't know if that's a glitch, but yeah, he's on intermediates. Very interesting.
Yeah, so here's how the tyre situation lands, just to talk about this. So the top 4, all on 5-lap-old hard compound tyres. No surprise there. P5 and 6, brand new hards. MH has come out on mediums, so you can take those to the end with another set of mediums in the mix. Metal is that meat, fresh hards, then it's a couple of guys on mediums, Yari on the oldest of them, which is 3 laps old. Hopefully he's just around that like 12 to 15% range, which is very possible on a medium at this point, and could help him later in the race. Jack Newcastle, fresh medium. Jidarachi, and a brand new intermediate. Strategy of Kings. Real Gomez and Fozzies on 1-lap-old hards. They must have boxed just before the safety car, and then Gaffo on his 4-lap-old hards. A Smurf Eagle into the pits. He does go.
Hards? You would assume.
Surely it's hard. And it is a hard. You can't, unless that is brand new, which it doesn't look it on my screen. It is brand new. So, according to all that I know about this game, is Jidarachi comes in, New medium tyre on the car, and away he goes. Real Gomez is going to jump him. Fozzie's is going to jump him. Can Gaffo jump him too? Yeah, so Gitarachi, P17 and last. And after last race, that is a surprise. But anyone on a fresh hard right now, there is that chance to go to the end. It's not very likely. But the hards around here can do about 20 laps at a conservative pace. So how conservative are the guys on a fresh hard going to be to try and get them to the end? I just don't think it's the faster strategy. I've done my strategy insights for this week, Quiet Boy, and I'm sure you'll be taking notes for when you race here on Wednesday. The best and most optimal strategy for this track is 17 laps on a hard tyre to 12 laps on a medium.
Yes.
That is the duration. 17 laps. It's about as far as you can take a hard while keeping up a decent pace. And then you switch to the medium, and your medium drops just below a worn hard at that 12 lap range. So it'll be interesting to see. Safety car released very late. So FaZe Monkey, not with much of a chance to get this race restarted in the way he wants. How early does he choose to go? That'll be the big question. Who's going to get a time penalty because the safety car slowed down? He's still not gone, and he launches just over the DRS line. And it's a good restart from FaZe Monkey. He will retain the lead of this race, and now that top four need to go absolutely skydiving down this track and try and get away from those behind. But it's a task easier said than done. Billy Wiz has got past Is That Me already. And one of the Saabs in the background, Jack Newcastle, looking on Yari Spams L2. He's going to look down the inside. Jack, with missing bits of front wing, somehow gets the move done. And now it's all Smurf illegal, trying to take a look on the back of the Alpine. And the Alpine, he has dropped to dead last. That's not what he needed.
Yeah,
up in front.
Flying off.
Yeah, up in front though, FaZe Monkey still retaining that lead, but how long can he retain it? Because he's got a charging Bluefoot in his mirrors, not going to be able to go for a move through 9 and 10. But opportunities are plenty around this track. Somehow Jack gets past his teammate, dives into the gravel, because that's a strat, and whoa, and Fozzie's and Gitarachi contact with each other. That is not what they need. Bluefoot and FaZe Monkey are wheel to wheel in this final sector now. And Bluefoot just about comes out on top. And this top four is getting spicy. John's boy, obviously on the best highs of them all. And that's going to really incite him to try and go on a charge here. Solar comes in to serve his drive-through penalty. Down towards turn 1. John's boy can be smart about this. He has a 5-lap tyre advantage over all of these guys. Royal Gomez picking up a time penalty for corner cutting and corner cutting and corner cutting. And as Metal down the inside of MH, those medium tyres not working on that McLaren, but he's going to try and come back at Metal. Those medium grip, that grip maybe just trying to work for him, but he's just not able to do anything special with it right now. But looking at where everyone is in this race, I think John's boy actually in a great position here to potentially go for the win. What do you think, Quiet Boy?
Yes, I definitely think he's in a very good position, but also Lucas Burrs has definitely had a big improvement from last race. You know, he's right up there too behind him. He's definitely had a good race so far, so if he just keeps it together, he definitely could have a chance of winning this race, or even just being on the podium. I'm sure that'll be enough for him.
Yeah, Yari gaining back some of the positions he's lost as Gappo.
Oh
no. Everyone's favourite driver, and not because he's the league owner or anything, as I think FaZe Monkey just gave Max a little bit of a punt, and through goes John's boy on both of the V-carbs through the final right-hander on the track, and he assumes P2, and now Bluefoot is under a lot of pressure. Metal is looking at Lucas Spurs as Lucas Spurs is looking at
Billy Wiz gone very
FaZe
wide.
Monkey, but Billy Wiz off the track and dropping positions. Not the ideal line through turn 1 for him. MH is looking very confident on the brakes behind Metal. He's just not got that straight line speed to do anything as it stands. I don't know if he's actually taken, if I actually gave him a setup. I don't know who has my setups for this race, but we'll have to see. as the race progresses, because we'll see it in the tyres, we'll see it in the straight line speed. But here comes John's boy, a guy who I know I didn't send a setup to. He's going to go up the inside of Bluefoot. He assumes the race lead here in Tier 2. Something he's not been able to say the entire Tier 1 season. And now, with the tyre advantage, he can go on an absolute rampage out in front if he can break that crucial 1 second barrier to everyone else in the field.
Yeah, he's done very well to get in the lead by now, because he can just get, personal safety car. Oh.
I don't see why we've got a VSC, but a VSC quite handy for a few of these drivers who need to get their tyres that little bit longer, as RB Gaffo has disappeared off the face of the earth.
Maybe Jitter Archie's lost, doesn't have a wing at all. No front wing.
Oh no. I would love to ask you, Quiet Boy, because you probably have Gaffo added, if you can send over Gaffo a quick invite.
Yeah. Nice.
Because I've been staring at this screen for all too long. Jitter Archie complaining that he had a shit quali in the Mercedes chat starting P11. Still a decent quali session, all things considered. They were very good last time out. I think the VSC's coming in. Because there goes... Oh, Jitter Archie retires in the pits, and I'm sure Jack will be joining him. But VSC surely in soon, and Bluefoot is looking to charge back on the restart. He has not got his battery turned off, but maybe just a little bit late. I don't know if this VSC has ended or not, because...
I can't tell.
Yeah, we'll have to see, but Bluefoot's had to drop back a mile. And that is going to really help John's boy, who has nailed the VSC. He's kept his delta just perfect. And if he can just gain that little bit more than he needs through here, he will break DRS, just not quite. He's just barely within that DRS gap, but now John's boy is going to take command of this race. He should surely be out of DRS by the time everything settles down. Here comes Lucas Spurs now. He has FaZe Monkey in front of him. He's going to look into turn 1. They're going to be wheel to wheel. And that is very, very aggressive from Lucas Spurs. Gets past FaZe Monkey. And here comes Metal Metal with the battery. And with a little bit of DRS and slipstream assistance, he's going to get past FaZe Monkey as well. Smurf Illegal struggling in the background. MH getting past him, but MH a mile off track afterwards. His positions are going to be interchanged here, and here comes Smurf. He's looking up the inside of turn 6, and he's not made the move stick, but he's thrown off the path of MH. MH without that DRS now. Crucially, here comes Smurf, and maybe Is That Me can follow up afterwards. The Jitter Archie is already having an absolute whine on in the FA2 chat. We'll come to that in a moment, because MH is under real pressure right now. He will be struggling to keep people behind him, as surely Smurf is going to break that DRS now. With the little bit of tyre he might have over the guy on mediums, not quite breaking DRS, does actually just about in the end. And that is key for Smurf Illegal's race. He gets to go on ahead and fight on, but it looks like out in front it's going to be a 2-horse race here between Bluefoot and John's boy, assuming both of them have one more stop to make. Is That Me picks up a 3-second penalty, just goes a little bit off track after getting past MH. But he'll take the position, and that's more crucial right now. Is That Me with the better tyre on the car. Jitter Archie leaving. As we have a small lull, we actually won't, because Bluefoot is now really starting to use those tyres. John's boy on the hards. Bluefoot on a lot older hards, but John's boy, he might just be out of battery here, because he's just turned it off halfway down the straight. And as we come into turns 9 and 10, it's the position for Bluefoot. It's the lead regained, and now MH getting back past Is That Me, and that's not the best exit for Is That Me. Billy Wiz could be a threat here. Is weaving all over the place. There's a little bit of contact on the rear end, but Billy Wiz is up the inside of Is That Me. Can he get the car through the next left-hander? There's a little bit of contact you could see from how the drivers are acting, but that's very wide from Billy Whiz. And he is now going to have a very angry Kick Sauber all over the back of him. Is that me with wing damage further forward? DRS training everywhere. MH. Oh no. Please tell me he's online. Please tell me he's online. Cool. He is invited back. MH dropping out though. Not what he needs. Fozzies has come into the pits for a new thing. What is going on with Lucas Spurs? As Bluefoot gets 3 seconds.
Oh no.
And he gets it from the lead of the race. And Gaffo just doesn't seem to be able to remain in the lobby at this moment. Jack Newcastle, pit lane retirement. Not a pit lane retirement. He's out, and that is another virtual safety car, boys. Why does this time it not show up with the virtual safety car? Last time it did. Or did it not?
Oh, yeah.
It did.
No, it did. No, he saw it, but not. He only saw the yellow flag.
Yeah, Gaffo struggling with connection. Maybe his PS just not liking my lobby. Is Jack Newcastle ending up in a wall, causing another VSC. This will help if Gaffo can make it back into the lobby, but it doesn't look like he'll be able to, as everything slows down for another minute, and every time we get one of these virtual safety cars or a safety car, it's more and more opportunity. Oh, what in God's name have you done there? And Gaffo's just not getting back in the session. This is...
Oh. John's voice sitting right beside Bluefoot. I don't know if the BSC... Oh, it is. Alongside him.
The SC has ended. He is alongside. I am nowhere near them, and they're wheel to wheel through turn 1. Bluefoot definitely picked up a warning there. And now John's boy with every opportunity to attack here. Around the outside of turn 3. That's a big slide on the rear end, but John's boy regains that lead after a beautiful virtual safety car restart. Fozzie's just maybe had a little bit of an issue on that exit. Luckily, it's very easy to transition from first to last. MH makes it back into the session. Thanks for reminding me to send you another invite. And now, everything falling to bits. Gaffo. Oh no. Here comes Bluefoot round the outside of John's boy. Lead changes hands once again, and John's boy with a big mistake, and that has opened up Lucas Spurs' opportunities of anything. Gaffo, this has ruined my whole week. I'm just completely fucked. I can't get back in. Comments from the league owner, who is struggling with an internet connection. Maybe next week he'll host and everyone else will. Actually, it might be me, because a lot of people have disconnected this race. So maybe I'm not hosting next week. Yari gets past Will Gomez in what is quite an unconventional place, but swapping places, the Alpine finally back in the points. He needs to go maybe 1 or 2 more laps, and then he can get himself to the end with another medium tyre, and that'll be great to try and bring his race back. But that little mistake from John's boy, those little battles, meaning that Bluefoot will now have 2 drivers behind him giving him the pressure. Fozzie's no front wing. But here, John's boy again, as Lucas Spurs has made a big mistake of it. He has had an absolute nightmare. And now he's going to be in a train that has DRS without the DRS himself. It's going 3 wide through the left-hand curve. And Metal is going to try and look around the outside. Can't do anything. Smurf Illegal looking back but can't make the move stick. Here comes Lucas Spurs. He is getting past Max. And the position returns to Lucas Spurs, but a lot of time lost. But can Max hang it around the outside? He can. And here comes Metal trying to take another look. Gaffo gets back into the lobby by some miracle. And everything just settling down as Bluefoot comes into the pits. He is going for the undercut on John's boy, and it will work. I can tell you that for a fact. Fozzie's another front wing bites the dust. Unfortunately, towards turn 1, nothing can really happen here. It's a net P2 currently for Max. It'll be P3 after he makes his other stop. He'll have to make another stop, surely, with how hard they've been pushing in this little train. But Max is going to be under some huge pressure as they come through. Smells like a big slide for Lucas Spurs at the rear. Does not seem to be happy with how his car is handling whatsoever. But Lucas Spurs is right on the diffuser of Max now. It'll be DRS, it'll be slipstream, Max without the battery, and it's going to be hung around the outside quite nicely by Lucas Spurs. The position is gained by the Williams driver, and he'll regain that net P3 in this race once all is said and done. But it all depends on how quickly can Bluefoot clear these guys around him. The yellow flag in the final sector. That's Fozzie's in the pit wall. What is going on with this guy? Not having a good time of it. He's fallen a lap down.
John's boy then.
John's boy, it was the only call. Max is going for the undercut. Metal and Smurf Illegal stay out. Fozzie's 10 seconds speeding in the pits. He's obviously retiring from the race in that pit lane. Luckily, doesn't screw anyone over, because Bluefoot has already made his stop. John's boy, Max, and Yari all in the pits at the moment. Out comes John's boy, and it's not worked for Bluefoot. John's boy on a fresh hard now, and Bluefoot has not been able to make the undercut work. John's boy takes the lead back, but those tyres are going to take a minute to come up to temperature. So everything is going to be a struggle. Ollie1G has just said sorry for the early safety car. He was caught in dirty air and he had wing damage, so he's ended up in a wall. Now Lucas Spurs is going to be being looked at by Metal and Smurf Illegal now. And surely these guys looking to pit this lap and just take a medium to the end. It has to be the strategy that they make. Bluefoot gets past John's boy. I am not surprised one bit that overtake has happened. Those mediums are good, but they're not going to last for Bluefoot. So John's boy, if he has any sense of what he's doing around this track, will not be fretting about this at all. It looked like a fate into the pits for Metal, but no one decided to pit. MH is off in the gravel in the back, having a horrid race after his first time being able to qualify in so long. And now, who's coming into the pits ahead of Max? It's Real Gomez and Is That Me Boxing. Billy Wiz is in the pits getting a new set of tyres on. And everything kind of stabilising out in this race. Who at the front can make a move? Is FaZe Monkey able to go to the end? That's a good question. No, because he's on his starting tyre still. I told you there are 17 laps. Why have you gone 18 and now on to 19? Real Gomez will come out just ahead of Is That Me, and as the race settles back into what it should be, the positions as it stands are Lucas Spurs from Metal from Smurf Illegal. As Smurf Illegal gets past Metal with the DRS, they're actually really bunched up here. Lucas Spurs would be under pressure, but it's a poor exit for both Smurf Illegal and Metal. Luckily, nothing changing out there for Lucas Spurs, and Smurf Illegal keeps his position. Who in this top three are going to pit? Surely FaZe Monkey is in from fourth. And this is not looking good right now because Bluefoot and Johnsy Boy, they're only like 10 seconds back. In comes Metal. He's going to undercut these guys. There is no chance that I believe they're going to the end. In comes FaZe Monkey. That was the most obvious choice of the race. Has to come in, has to get a fresh set on, and he can go to the end. This would be great to see from him. John's boy on the hards, 19-0. Good lap from him to be fastest and to be sticking with the Red Bull ahead of him. Just get dragged along while Bluefoot has that better tyre. And then towards the end, the moves will be made by John's boy, and those hards will just get better and better compared to Bluefoot's mediums. Because the mediums, they'll be good for about 6 laps and then they just kind of die off. Here comes Smurf Illegal out in front though. He'll want to just get ahead of Lucas Spurs before they pit, and I don't think he has the battery or the pace to do it. John's boy cleaning up Bluefoot now, and is he going to make a charge away? It's what he needs to do. Maybe it was a mistake demoting him to Tier 2 for today, because he has looked absolutely rampant in the race. Smurf Illegal is all over the back of Lucas Spurs. And what's the call going to be from these guys? Surely it's a pit stop. In comes Smurf Illegal. In comes Lucas Spurs. That is very close between the two of them. Nearly some major contact. So this will mean John's boy can reassume the lead from Bluefoot, and the race kind of stabilises out As it is, Bluefoot getting a nice little toe off the back of John's boy, but he's surely not going to have the pace in that car. He's got a 3-second penalty. He's looking to be edging towards another one. As it stands, where are these two going to come out? Here comes Metal on the main straight. Is he going to hang it round the outside of Lucas Spurs? It's easy for the Haas driver. Lucas Spurs and Smurfle Eagle both going to the end with fresher mediums. This will be a little bit of pressure on the back of Metal, and more importantly, FaZe Monkey is right there in it as well. The P7 for the V-Carb driver, who hasn't had the best string of performances recently, maybe looking for a good fight back today. Bluefoot now is going to be looking at John's boy. Can't make anything happen through the first chicane, but the drive out of it is what they need to pay attention to, and just not able to make a move happen right now. And the longer Bluefoot's in that dirty air, the more his tyres are going to wear. So everything is on the table right now. It looks like a surefire 1-2 for these guys. P3 certainly looking Max's way, and Yari gets a 3-second time penalty. Not the worst thing in the world for his race. FaZe Monkey losing the rear, gets overtaken again by Smurfle Eagle after getting past him. Yari now just looking to get past Billy Whizzer. P8 might not be the podium celebrations that he had last week, but it'll certainly be a good go at it from up in front. A few looks on the straight from a few drivers, and Bluefoot, more importantly, is right on the back of John's boy for yet another lap here in Australia, looking for any gap, anything that he can exploit in John's boy's driving. And it looked like a very poor run through the right-left chicane at the end of Sector 1, and now as he comes through the long right and left-handers, this is Bluefoot's best opportunity of the race. He just doesn't seem to be burning. He's not burning. He's just right tucked in behind, maybe trying for a look here. Gaffo pulls into the box. Is that him calling it quits on his race? I'm not sure. But Bluefoot just trying what he can. Lucas Spurs gets past Metal. FaZe Monkey has gone past Smurfle Eagle. Lucas Spurs with a 3-second penalty after going wide on that exit. But he's still fighting back Metal. They're going to be wheel to wheel. Is there going to be contact? No. Lucas Spurs backing out wisely. And Smurfle Eagle still just trying whatever he can to get on the back of these guys. And these guys once again find themselves in a 4-man DRS train from the middle of absolutely nothing.
Yeah, they're all four of them are absolutely so tight together. But Max in a good position because he's 6 seconds ahead of Metal, so he can just kind of relax until the end of the race, keep his tyres good, and get a P3. Or unless Bluefoot's tyres really die, he can catch him with a 3-second penalty.
Lucas Spurs gets by Metal, and Smurfle Eagle trying to get past FaZe Monkey. They are going to go side by side, and they both keep it on the track. That is impressive for that corner. FaZe Monkey backing out, and probably the wisest thing to do in that position. Yari gets past Billy Whiz, who seems to have made a mistake, who seems to actually be quite slow there. So I don't know what happened to Billy. But Yari now, is he maybe targeting to try and get back up there? I know what FaZe Monkey's targeting. He's going around the outside of Smurfle Eagle. They're going to try and go wheel to wheel through turns 9 and 10. Nothing going on, but Smurfle Eagle picks up a penalty, and that has ruined his chance at maybe trying to snatch that P4 away from Lucas Spurs. Metal now in the best spot in this little fight now. No penalties. I'm not sure on the warning count, but it's certainly not going to be too high. Billy Whiz still trying to fight back against Yari, but just nothing coming for him. Those medium tyres aren't the best ones to be racing on right now. A quick, brief look at the penalty situation. It's 3 seconds for everyone down to Billy Whiz, who has 6, 9 for Real Gomez. Gaffo disconnects again. 19 seconds for Is That Me? And then 3 for Solar and MH. So penalties, not too much of a deciding factor, as Billy Whiz is now on 9 seconds, so Yari can be very confident in his position. As it stands, a P8 will be a good result for him today. He wasn't feeling the most confident coming into the race, but he has shown some determination, and especially after getting his front wing taken off on lap 1. URC's unluckiest driver having his luck dragged over to Formula Aero today. Bluefoot out in front is throwing that car around this track, and it's not going to help his tyres whatsoever. We'll try and get an onboard look at his tyres as we turn off the overhead display just for a second. We're just trying to see if anything on his tyre just seems to be showing that he's struggling. His rear left looking a little bit hot there. I can't see too much scrub on his tyres as it stands. But you never know when it can change. At a track like this, those tyres will just fall off, and he's slowly but surely not having that same oomph in the challenge he had on the back of John's Boy anymore. He's just losing a bit too much in the corners compared to when he had fresh tyres. And that one lap tyre advantage for John's Boy just slowly but surely increasing. MH picks up another 3-second penalty. He's P13, so who really cares? But John's Boy out in front doing nothing. Gaffo gets himself back into the lobby. How long is he going to survive this time? Because not been the race for him. Is that me? Gets a 10-second speed in the pit lane. I can already sense what his next input's going to be. Unless he just wants to try and snatch a fastest lap to get a consolation prize for this race. No points for it, that's for sure. Bluefoot is a bit closer on this lap, but again through turns 9 and 10, the car just doesn't have that grip anymore, that ultimate pace that he wants, and he just can't stick close enough to make anything happen. Smurf Illegal is still absolutely throwing his car around behind Metal. He needs to get past Lucas Spurs on track if he wants to take home a P5. So what's he going to be able to do? He's sticking all over the back of that Haas car, but he's picking up warnings. I think that's 2 in a lap he might have picked up there. So he is very close to yet another penalty. But every little bit that he can do just helps him build some confidence. And he is one of the only drivers on this track right now who's sticking behind. He dives to the inside of turn 1. They're wheel to wheel on the exit, and Metal, as a great driver he is, manages to take the position back, but Smurf Illegal just later on the brakes hangs it round the outside, and that is textbook overtaking from the Mercedes driver. But more crucially, they've dropped away from Lucas Spurs. The comfort coming back for the Williams driver. 1.7 seconds, the gap behind now. And even Bluefoot now, as unfortunate as it is to say, struggling to stick to John's Boy, who even though he's just made a mistake in that chicane, still not showing any signs of vulnerability. As Is That Me is pulling into the pit lane once again. Surely a retirement this time around coming for the driver. But Bluefoot, 3 laps to go, needs to overtake ample 3 seconds if he wants a win today. That win is not going to be on for him, as far as I can see. I think the big battle now is this battle, at least on track for P5, because all of them on very similar tyres. If we take a quick look at their tyre age, 5, 6 and 7, all on 6-lap-old tyres, about a turn 7-lap-old tyres. So everything could change here. Is That Me maybe getting involved in this a little bit and giving some DRS on a fresh soft tyre to the Mercedes driver, which could influence the outcome of this race? No rules in Formula Aero, obviously, about being a lap down and giving DRS, provided you move out the way in a timely manner and don't impede. That is all the requirements. Gaffo, it's not been his race. It really hasn't. He's just had a torrid time of it today, and I won't be surprised if he leaves this track and thinks, I need a great performance next race, because his championship rivals are all up there, and John's Boy shows his first sign of vulnerability in this race. 3-second time penalty. It's 2 to go, but that Ferrari driver seems to be doing an immense job right now. He just has all the pace in the corners, and he might not be as strong against Bluefoot on the straights. He might have that DRS to worry about, but it's all about confidence. It's all about just being able to pull those gaps when he needs to, and we're coming to 2 to go now. And now the lead race has just gotten interesting. John's Boy's first major mistake of the race, but he is looking rapid in those corners. He has just pulled 3-4 tenths even in one corner. Max picks up a 3-second time penalty. That doesn't matter for the outcome of this race as it stands. Unless he gets another one, then maybe Metal could join the fray for a podium finish. But John's Boy throwing that car around like it's nobody's business, and look at that. 1.2 seconds the gap. He's broken DRS. He has done everything he can now. 1.5 seconds. I don't think Bluefoot has the battery that John's Boy might have. He doesn't have that same straight line speed. Everything kind of falling away here, and all the racing starting to fall away on this track as everyone's gaps start to expand. These tyres are just slowly but surely falling apart. The one driver who has any sort of DRS advantage right now is FaZe Monkey. It won't affect his outcome at the end of the race, but at least for now, FaZe Monkey with the opportunity as MH sets the fastest lap of the race. Good on you, MH. I know you're P13, but no, every little bit of confidence to bring into the next race is what you want. But on the final lap, as it starts for John's Boy, it's a 2.4 second gap. And I think I know what's happened. Bluefoot, I can see it on his tyres. They're gone. Bluefoot's tyres, he's killed them. And that is his race pretty much over now. MH picking up another 3-second penalty. We're going to watch along with this battle just a little bit longer. FaZe Monkey on the back of Metal. Nothing coming of it. And I apologise as the game pauses momentarily so I can check something. But FaZe Monkey really no need to make the move. But the move will probably be made nonetheless. As John's Boy finishes his middle sector, it's all down to FaZe Monkey now. What can he do? This is his final chance, really, to make anything happen. He's already flashing on the battery. He's up the inside of Metal. The position is gone. It's conceded. And we go back to the front. And from P9 on the grid, it's been a commanding performance at the helm. Once he took over, John's Boy has put no foot wrong this race. 1 3-second penalty as one of the drivers, the latest to get is. But John's Boy in Tier 2, he comes across the line. It's 4.2 seconds the gap. He wins in Australia. Bluefoot comes home with a 7-second gap to John's Boy. P3 Max, only a second gap. P4 for Lucas Spurs, 5th for Smurf Illegal, but Smurf Illegal and FaZe Monkey both losing positions. Gaffo crashes out on the final lap. Might have made contact there. Yari doing some absolute theatre across the line. Billy Wiz comes home to take P9, and here comes Real Gomez. He's coming home P10 to bring a sole point for himself in this championship. He is going to be ecstatic. P10 for himself. Solar next across the line. It'll be P11 for the Aston Martin driver. Is that me across the line at some point there from a lap down? And finally, last driver across the line. The driver we expected so much from. A driver that just couldn't deliver today, but maybe next week. MH to finish this race P12. And that was some absolute cinema right towards the end of the race. No foot placed wrong for John's Boy until he gets that 3-second. Everything just looked like it could have changed. But the race ends. John's Boy wins from Bluefoot Max, Lucas Spurs, Metal, Smurf Illegal, FaZe Monkey, Yari, Billy Wiz, and Real Gomez. Take a quick look at the incidents page because I keep forgetting to grab my race director. Wholly exceeded track limits. That's about all I can say. Few retirements for terminal damage, and I'm pretty sure that's Gaffer's retirement on the final lap as well. But that is it for Tier 2 today. We're going to be taking a look to see if any of our top 3 would like an interview. We might bring in the former championship leader to maybe talk about his race and his connection issues. But hang tight as we will be back very shortly to either say goodbye or for some interviews. And we're back live, and we've brought along John's boy, our race winner here, the guy that we dragged up from FA1 for a quick race because I thought his pace isn't going to be that good, he's not going to win it. And then he goes and wins it by 7 seconds. So, John's boy, how was that race for you?
I mean, it was obviously a lot of fun, but I definitely blaming a lot of it on that safety car. Everyone started hard, so I thought, okay, I'll just, I've done no practice, I'll just do something different. Started mediums, and the safety car kind of saved me. I could go hard from there, and it was hards just did not die anywhere close to the mediums.
Yeah, I saw that double hard from you in the end, and that was questionable at first, but you seemed to make it work. I think the last couple laps, Bluefoot had just killed his tyres in your dirty air. But what was your key to keeping him behind, though?
Honestly, it was just, I noticed he had so much straight line speed, so I was kind of just letting him get as close to me during the corners, giving him as much dirty air as possible, and just blasting it on the exits with my ERS, really. His straight line speed was too much, so I had to do something different.
Yeah, I mean, you started P9 in the end after Peterbot was unable to make it into the race lobby. And just talk us through your first couple laps, because a lot of people had a hard time, and you seemed to get through it quite well.
Off the very beginning, obviously, everyone's hard, so my mediums are just working much better on the first lap, and I gained about 4 positions by the first corner, and then from there, it was just the tyres doing everything, really.
And obviously, you're going to be in Tier 1 come Wednesday.
Yeah, nice bit of practice.
Yeah, I was going to say, do you think you're going to be able to translate a bit more pace now that you've had a good race and a qualifying session around there?
Not a chance. I'm still very shit compared to them people.
Yeah, I'll maybe take a 1v1 against you.
Especially you, yeah.
Nah, Ricky gapped me any day of the week, John's boy. You know that.
That's what I mean. So, and you gapped me, so I've got no chance on Wednesday. But honestly, I'm coming into FA2 for next season. I will be here.
Well, we'll see what the lineups turn out to be next season. Thank you, John's boy, for coming along. And that will be the end of today's stream. We'll be back next week for God knows what race, but I don't think it's a very fun one. It's going to be Singapore, so should be all right overall, and it should be a great race. We'll obviously be hosting that at night, as a few people have already asked. But a tricky track. The walls are close, but we'll be back in a week for Singapore, and Gaffer will be with you on Wednesday hosting for Tier 1 Australia.